Hi everybody, the Vegan Preppers here, and we just want to do a quick video about something that just came up today. And I was scrolling through Facebook and a news story came up, and it was about a water main break in a city close to us, and just got me thinking that we're prepped for drinking water, but we don't really have anything in place for just like a normal everyday city issue, like a water main break. We're dependent upon the city to provide water to our house, and when one of those water mains break, the area around that doesn't have running water anymore. So I just got us thinking about doing some preps to be prepared for something like that. Water's so important to our everyday lives, and we're so used to it just coming out of the faucet that we don't always think about the fact that it might not come out of there. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, and just everything that means for our lives. And so actually a lot of this stuff is stuff that we kind of already have on our radar and on our list for prepping. And so it isn't something that we have managed to do quite yet for ourselves, quite frankly. But it's still something that's really important to keep in mind. And then as the budget allows, we can start purchasing the things that we need in order to actually make these things happen in our lives. But since it's on our list, we could at least share our list with you, and then you can get your own list together. And hopefully, I don't know, and maybe you'd be able to put stuff together a lot faster than we would, because we are, just kind of doing everything slowly. So anyway, yeah.
So you want to do the first one?
No, how about you do the first one?
Okay. So the first thing is sanitation. Mm-hmm. So bathroom, washing, keeping your hands clean, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now, ideally, you might have a 500-gallon storage water in the backyard. If not, then
it's on the list.
It's on the list, yeah. Be awesome to harvest rainwater when we get it, for things like flushing the toilet. We're not going to want to use our supply of drinking water to be flushing the toilets, but this is another one of those things that we're so used to just being in place. We've pushed the lever and the water goes down, but you can flush a toilet with a bucket of water. So if you have that bucket of water, then that's handy. And but if not, then either you move out of your house until the water main is fixed, or you have other solutions. One of those things is a composting toilet.
Honestly, sorry to interrupt, but that honestly would be my first choice. I wouldn't want to be using the water store to flush a toilet.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't know. I'm not grossed out by a composting toilet, though.
Right.
I know a lot of people are, but I'm not. Anyway.
So, composting toilet doesn't necessarily have to be a big expensive thing you buy. Composting toilets can be very expensive, but it can be a bucket with a seat on it. You can take the seat off of your regular toilet, and you can set it on a 5-gallon bucket. And we're not going to get into all of the how-to on composting toilets, something you guys can research yourself, but it is an option. You can just have a bucket in the bathroom with a seat on it, and that works.
Yeah, and there's also levels of how natural you want to be with it, and then it doesn't necessarily have to be a composting toilet. It can end up being more of a porta potty type latrine type thing. There's ways of buying the same chemicals that they put into porta potties, and you could use those for your own toilet and things like that. I personally would feel better with the composting, sawdust method. But, again, everybody has their own level of comfort with the various solutions. And so I sort of do what's comfortable for you. But yeah, I would be preparing more for a composting situation. Then assuming hopefully the water would come back on, we'd end up with maybe 1 or 2 buckets that we'd have to let sit for, at least a year. There's a whole process to it. So just, do the research and then it becomes compost. Magic. But yeah, we want to do it in a safe, sanitary way, and then also in a legal way, because I'm not even sure composting toilets are legal. But of course, if the water main breaks, we have no water, What are they going to do to us if we are responsibly disposing of our own waste? Really? Okay, anyway. All right. So are you all finished with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the second thing being laundry, thinking about the laundry situation. So number one being having at least a 2-week supply of clean socks and underwear for every member of your family is an absolutely amazing way to start with an idea of looking towards a situation where you wouldn't have water, but it also could be, I don't know, almost any kind of survival situation. And that would be to make sure that your family is set for kind of a nice chunk of time. And you might not even have to do laundry. Hopefully they would fix a water main break within 2 weeks. But you might not even have to do laundry if you have enough of the kind of under things that are clean. And that's just to obviously just keep yourself clean. That kind of goes back to the sanitation. Just making sure that everything stays nice and germ-free and tidy, and that would be great. Especially considering, you're not going to be wanting to use a lot of water on laundry either. And those are the main items that you would be wanting to wash. Obviously, only wear each one of those things once to prevent all kinds of, fungal infections and all that. But assuming that you do still need to do a little bit of laundry, there are great, really inexpensive hand-powered options out there that you can find on Amazon, and I'll probably link a couple down below that I have seen. Usually in the $50 to $60 range, you can get kind of a small hand-powered washing machine that will use like a gallon of water at a time, and you can wash a relatively decent amount of clothes, agitate it with, again, a hand-powered system, and then also end up doing a spin cycle so that you can end up hanging those things up and they'll be more than, mostly dry. There are also other options that are more in the $30 range of like a agitator on a stick, which you can kind of do in a bucket like this for washing your clothes. Only kind of disadvantage to that being that there's no option then for the spin cycle, so that you have to wring everything out before you hang it up. And then obviously having something to hang your clothes on. If you're living in an area where you can't hang them outside, an indoor clothing rack of some kind, so just sort of get
your shower rod or whatever.
Oh yeah, that works too, especially considering that the loads are kind of small.
Yeah.
So you're right. That would also probably work.
We live in Arizona, so everything dries pretty much instantly.
Super fast. You can just toss it on top of a table in a pile and it will be dry. I mean, that might be an exaggeration, but yeah, it's crazy how fast stuff dries here. So sort of kind of getting that in your mind for the idea of not having water. Yeah, there's lots of options there too.
Something to think about as well with the spare socks and underwear is look for discounts, clearances. Go to clearance stores like Ross or whatever, and you can get pretty big packs of stuff, or Costco. You get pretty big packs of stuff that might not be the fancy designer stuff we like to wear normally, but designer underwear is better.
It's softer. Yeah.
But you can pick up a bunch of stuff pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So to have sitting in the cabinet, then it's not a big expense.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's probably not one of the things you want to go out finding used. No, see, there's my comfort level. I'm not willing to use used underwear and socks and
Goodwill
stuff.
undies.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. Anyway.
You want to talk about dishes? I don't know anything about that. I mean, I know how to do dishes normally, but I don't know anything about that.
Yes, he's very helpful. Don't think that he's saying he never helps. He does. So doing dishes without very much water is that's definitely more of a challenge. I think it helps a lot, actually. This is another place where being vegan is huge help for cleanliness and diseases and germs and sanitation, because literally nothing that we cook with is dairy or meat, so we're not going to be having to worry about sanitizing our cutting boards and things like that. So we get to be I don't want to say lax in our approach to dishwashing, but I guess kind of, yeah. And especially also being pretty much oil-free vegans, nothing is greasy. So it's like very easy to just rinse a lot of stuff and it's just clean without having to, go through a huge thing. So definitely considering maybe if you're not vegan, figuring out how to be vegan, at least for that time period, that you are dealing with not having water coming in. But yeah, washing in a tub instead of in your sink. Definitely don't leave the water running the whole time anyway. Like, even if you have water, don't leave the water running the whole time. My gosh, I just feel like
water doesn't grow on trees.
Like, I live in a desert too, and it's like, was nobody around to watch like Captain Planet and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Did you not get indoctrinated from a young age at like how you need to conserve water and all of that? Like I go to people's houses and watch them like load their dishwasher by having the sink running, and they rinse everything off. Some people even do it with soap, and then they put the dish in the dishwasher while the water's still running. And this can take like 15 or 20 minutes. They just have the water running like full blast to wash dish. Anyway, sorry.
You got 100 gallons of water going down the tubes.
I'm going off on a tangent, and I'm sorry, but to be conservative with your water anyway. So I don't typically wash with a tub. I do wash with a sink, but I don't fill it very full, and I do just a single sink of water for like all the hand wash dishes I have, and otherwise mostly they just go into the dishwasher, and then I scrape, but I don't like rinse before they go in. And so anyway, regardless, a single sink full of dishes, letting it soak for quite a while first, and then being able to just rinse it off without being too concerned about, again, things like meat, drippings, and things like that. It helps with that. And then also, one of the kind of extra pluses that I have noticed in our lives since we've switched over to a zero waste dish routine, we have a zero waste bar soap that we're using now on our dishes, which definitely still does lather up very well, but because it's a more natural soap and it's not formulated to create huge amounts of suds, it doesn't require nearly as much or nearly as much water to rinse in order to complete that process. So even just switching to a more natural soap can really help cut down on the usage of water in your dishes. So yeah, a single tub for washing, and then a single tub for rinsing. And then obviously if stuff gets truly just like disgustingly dirty, then you switch the water out and put a little bit more in there. But I have never really had to ever do that. But then also, as much as I hate them, an option would be to have a stock of disposable dishes. And that is definitely something that's in my list for a situation such as this. But I'm gonna get compostable, disposable dishes, keeping more in line, of course, with the zero waste theme that I'm trying to do in our lives. And then that way, those dishes, well, they can go into the compost, and they don't have to get thrown away. But then you can cut down on some of your dish usage with some sort of more disposable things. So
yeah, it's a good thing to have for situations like this.
Mm-hmm.
Everyday use is not ideal.
No, yeah, not using it every day. And I think that ends up having it has its own little governor that stops usage because they're more expensive. But then I also think of something like, what if somebody got sick, or what, there's plenty of reasons that you might want to have a stash of disposable dishes on hand. So anyway, yeah.
Just a little side shoot. We have a landfill within like 10 miles of where we live.
Yeah.
It's not like, we don't smell it or anything, but
Yeah.
when we drive past there, the mountain of trash grows
Yeah.
on a regular basis. And
We've seen it rise.
yeah,
Yeah.
over the time that we've lived here, the mountain, it's truly a mountain of trash now. And anything we can do to not make that mountain bigger is a good thing.
Yeah, for real. So, yeah.
So ideas for washing your stuff and doing it with very, very little water. You can kind of look up backpacking tips. There's some good tips online for just things to do to keep your stuff clean while you're backpacking, and that would be appropriate for this situation as well. So I'm gonna check into that.
Yeah, backpacking websites are actually great accidental resources for all things water conservation and zero waste living and all kinds of, because they have like how you use everything, because they're not carrying stuff to like throw away, and like everything is very, you know, conservation minded. That's what I was going to say. But anyway,
yeah, you don't want. If you don't want to have to pack a bunch of trash out, then don't bring a bunch of trash with you.
Right.
If you do bring trash, please pack it out.
Right. Take it back with you. Take nothing but pictures. Leave nothing but footprints. Right. Yeah. Anyway.
We're all activists today or something.
I know. We're like angry vegans. We're really mad, right? Like we look really
totally.
Mad. Yeah.
Take care of the planet.
Yeah.
Like seeing trash. So you know, the backpacking thing is good for bathing stuff too. But if you don't have a bunch of water, you're not gonna take a bath. Obviously, I hope. We'll use all of our drinking water so I can have a bubble bath. But you can do a lot with a sponge and a little bit of water. So definitely sanitation is important. Make sure we're always keeping ourselves clean. Don't want to put on that fresh pair of spare underwear with dirty underbits. But yeah, it doesn't take a lot. So just a sponge bath. You can boil or heat up water on the stove, so it's a bit more pleasant. Or if you're hardcore, you can just do it with ice water. You know, go Wim Hof. And yeah, it's an easy way just to keep everybody fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, and I was thinking, all of a sudden, I know I didn't write it down, but another resource that I use for a lot of things, like with the bathing and the dishes, like to come up with ideas, because I'm always reading and researching and coming up with ideas. Even if I can't buy the stuff right away, it's good to know how, and it's good to know that it's a thing that you're going to need to think through if you end up in that situation, you know, which is kind of, again, the point of this video. And so tiny houses, tiny house living, same thing. So not only backpacking, but like in a tiny home, a lot of times there's not like a giant bathroom and things like that. So that's another really great resource, is to look into how people in tiny homes manage things like laundry and dishes and showering and stuff like that. So I have found it to be a really great resource. Actually, it was on tiny house stuff that I found out about the small hand-powered washing machines. So anyway, but then I guess that's it for things that we can think of right now. But continuing the activist theme, I guess, of this little video, we were talking about briefly kind of about this, having a gray water system. And do you know, like, gray water systems are illegal in a lot of places.
It's crazy.
Like, that's just like literal insanity to me. I feel like every single house, especially here in the desert, should be built with a gray water system in mind. And I guess you could talk about gray water systems in case people don't know what that is.
You know what gray water is? Gray water is water that is still sanitary, but is used. So like stuff that would come from your sink after you do the dishes. Actually,
Your washing machine.
Your washing machine.
Yeah.
No, actually, in a situation like a water main break, you could do your own gray water. So like if you wash your dishes with that water, save that water and flush your toilet with it. You can do your manual gray water system, but you can set up your house to do gray water automatically. Kind of, it's a lot of plumbing, but to flush your toilets with leftover washing machine water, dishwasher water, and sink water, so that you aren't just flushing the toilet with, fresh, clean water.
Right. Every time, it's like literal insanity to me that we're using clean, totally sanitary, perfectly fine, drinkable water and just like flushing away like 3 or 4 gallons of it every single time we go to the bathroom. I don't know. Anyway, I have actually seen setups in Japan I think it was specifically, where they had a washing machine built on top of a toilet. And then the water that was used to wash clothes was then used to flush the toilet. And it's like, that's just so genius. I think it's just perfectly fine. Anyway, a lot of times gray water systems end up also being used to funnel water out to water trees in the yard. And then you have to be careful about what kind of soap you're using. So again, a zero waste natural Castile soap would be great for using in that way. So then, yeah, your stuff can just go out into your yard and water. But yeah, again, it's illegal in a lot of places. So you really have to look into it. But again, even just the concept, like what you said, I think that's really great. So yeah, if you are using water at all to wash dishes, go ahead and bucket it up and then use that to flush your toilet if you're, dealing with a water main break situation. But I don't know, I think that's basically all we have to say on the subject, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool.
That was our short video.
Our short 20-minute video. But, I think we covered a lot. I think that was a reasonable 20-minute video. So, anyway. Yeah, I guess I'm hearing our daughter, too. She's, woke up from her nap. So, anyway, we should probably go grab her. Yeah. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, and if you learned anything new, make sure that you like and you subscribe, comment down below. Let us know what was your favorite tidbit and the thing that you think you're going to do first to get ready for a situation like a water main break. And yeah, actually, this is the second one I've heard of in very recent times in our city. So I'm like, what is going on with the water mains in our city? I don't know. So anyway, I guess that's all something to think about. And as always, I hope the rest of your day is good and your life stays wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Vegan Preppers,